Hi, fourth grade friends. We got started doing a little bit of review. So first you're going to need like whiteboard materials, or you can do this in a notebook or on scrap paper too. We just got started practicing how to name angles. So first we kind of did a little bit of review. We drew an angle like that, like that, like that. Oh, that was bad. Like that, and like that. We added arrows to the end of each one. All right, then we just did a quick kind of review in our head and tried to just like name these by their type. Do you remember what this one is? This one we said, yep, was an acute angle. How about this one? A right angle. Do you remember this one? Obtuse. And this one was a straight angle. Good. All right. Now we talked about how we have names. We talked about a few examples, how people have usually a first, a middle, or a last name. So for example, like let's go for my husband, John. His first name is John. His middle name is Roth, and then Wells. Okay, or we can say, like my sister, Allison Marie Dolan. First, middle, last. Okay, so angles have first, middles, and last names as well. Whenever we're naming angles, we need all three parts, like we're really angry with them. So to do this, we look at a picture, and it would have like 3 points on it. And they would have those points labeled like P, L, and M. Now, I can name this two ways. I can go first, middle, last, or last, middle, first. Let's see what that looks like. So for this one, I could have angle P, L, M. Whatever's in that middle point is what needs to be in my middle here. Then I name it again by telling me what it is. We know it's an angle, so we start with that angle. This time I want to go from the other side. I want to do M, L, P. Angle M to L to P. Notice L is in the middle again because that's my middle point there. Let's try it if it was on like a right angle. Let's go A, B, C. How could we name this angle? We can name it angle A, B, C. Top, middle, end. How else can we name this angle? We can name it angle C, B, A. Notice again what's in the middle? B is because that's my middle point here. All right, let's try it with an obtuse angle. All right, we got 3 points. How can we name this obtuse angle? Oh, it's an angle P, D. Oh, we're going to make that one a Q instead, sorry. So it'll look a little different. P, D, Q. What other way can we name this angle? We can name it angle Q, D, P. We could go backwards too. Now, straight angles are probably one of the hardest ones because if it has only 2 points, like this, it's not a straight angle. What would we call it when it looks like this? This would be a line, right? When it has 2 points equals a line. But if we add in a third one, then this is now a straight angle. So with 2, it's a line. 3 makes it that angle. How would we name this angle? Angle LAI or angle IAL. Notice A is our middle spot, so A has to be our middle spot down there. So we did some practice naming angles. Now, let's look at these ones, and I'm going to make this big screen. Practice naming this angle right here. I got another one for you. How would you name this angle? You can name it 2 ways. Angle HGF or angle FGH. Make sure, I'm going to go like this for a second. Make sure when you're naming, oh goodness, it's just constantly in the way. All right, let's try this again. When you're naming angles, let me just get my board erased here. Sorry, friends. All right, whenever you're naming angles, you always need to start with that angle sign. So angle FGH or angle HGF. Okay? As long as you get that angle sign first. And notice, when we're drawing the angle sign, does it have little arrows on it? No. Even if it's an obtuse angle, do we draw an obtuse angle sign? No, we just do a nice little, almost like less than sign, like it's chomping on it to mean angle. So angle names. So you try naming this one. Should have gotten angle LMN or angle NM. Oop, that's a bad N. NML. NML or LMN. Okay, I think we got a good start on that. So now, take a look at this picture. Can you think of any acute angles? This is a little trickier. So look through your picture. Try and find where there's, remember, how many points for naming angles? 3. We need 3 points. So if we follow it along, 3 points, does it make that angle? So if I go from here, ED, is that an angle? No, that one's either a line or a ray or a line segment, depending on how I'm looking at it. All right, so if this line went up, though, I could maybe have one. But is this right here an angle? No. All right, so let's follow it. ED. Now I might go down. I'm going to go down to P. Is that an acute angle in here? If I look at just this part, I'm just imagining in my head. It is angle EDP. Or I could continue it down and do ED all the way down to C even. Or I could do CDE or PDE. Do you see another acute angle? I can also see angle DPB. That's acute. Or angle APC. All right, now take a look. Can you find any angles that look obtuse to you? Where it's bigger than 90. Imagine that 90, that right angle, that L, and then open bigger. This one right here kind of catches my eye. Angle APD, because it's really wide, right? That was the first one I saw. Or DPA. Trying to look through. That's the only ones that I really see, because ED, and if we had one up here, it might be. But we don't have another point, so we can't name it. All right. Oh, I see one more acute angle. Down here towards the bottom somewhere. How would I name that angle? Angle, we could do CPB, right, in between here. Or angle BPC. All right, so next thing we did was we talked about what is an angle. We've been doing a lot of work with angles. So then we had our worksheet right here. What's an angle? And we're talking about angles when we have two rays that share that endpoint, that point. An angle measure is referenced to talking about a circle covering 360 degrees. A degree is a unit of measure to measure that angle. So we have a circle that's 360 degrees. If we divide a circle in half, each side would be something in 360 divided by 2. If we go through and do our long division, we know that that is 180. So 180 degrees. Now we noticed in class 2 that means that this side of the circle is 180 degrees and this side of the circle is 180 degrees. We also talked about how this angle here is a straight angle. And we remembered that straight angles measured 180 degrees. So that's why straight angles have to be 180 degrees, because it's like we're splitting that circle in half. So now let's think. We divide our circle into fourths, into quarters. We're taking this 180 and we're going to split it in half. How much would each quarter measure? What would be the degrees for each quarter? So I would take 180, because I know that this is 180, and split it in half. Well, I know 18 divided by 2 is 9, so 180 divided by 2 is 90. So each one of these little circle parts measures 90 degrees. Now, if we think through this, what kind of angles do you really see? Look at the middle of that circle. If we look through right here, is a right angle. Oh, how much were right angles? 90. What about this one? There's another right angle. How much does that right angle measure? 90 degrees. And down here, same thing. And for this one too. That's why right angles are 90 degrees. So now let's think through. We have our circle. And if we divide it into 360 little parts with all of these little ticks on here, we're thinking through. If we measure just one of those little ticks, that would be just 1 degree, because it's only measuring one little tick. But when we look at this angle to the right, you see how it starts here and it continues all the way up to this arrow. We're going to figure out how much of that circle would be covered in with that angle. Well, it goes up past 10, past 20. Notice how the number's kind of to the left of that really big line. 40, 50, well, 60 is this line, but I notice our angle goes just a little bit farther. So just past 60, one more tick would be 61 degrees. Let's take a look on the backside and do some more practice like that. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. All right, so looking at this measure, we did this one in class. Remember, those numbers are just slightly to the left of that big tick. So 90 would be right here, would be straight up. 100's this next one. Well, 110 is slightly to the left. What do you think is underneath here? Because I noticed the next big tick is way over here at 120. Our next big tick is probably right underneath this guy. So how much does this obtuse angle measure? 110 degrees. You try this one. How much do you think this, what kind of angle is this first? An acute, right? So we know it's got to be a small number. All right, how much does this acute angle measure? Well, if we look, it's right between that 40 and that 50. Halfway between 40 and 50, we know, is 45. So 45 degrees. You try these next two on your own, and unpause the video when you're ready to see those answers. All right, so this one is obtuse, and it goes all the way over just past 155. So I would accept any one of these. 156, 155 degrees, or 157 degrees, because it's kind of hard to tell. But it's just past, because 160 would be this line here, and it's not quite to that 160. And this last one, if we look closely, that 80 mark would be that next really big tick, so it's just shy. It's not quite to 80. So this one would be 79 degrees. All right, my mathematicians. That is what we did in class. Then for your homework, you had problems 1, 2, 6, and 8. Now you're probably going to open up your math book and go, I already did this page. You did. Remember, we did certain problems and I said we're going to come back to it. Well, here we are coming back to it. So problem 1 and 2, describe it as many ways as you can, those ones as you can. What kind of angle is it? How would you name it? As much as you can, okay? Number 6 and 8, you're going to use that picture off to the right, which was a lot like what we did on this part, okay? And you're going to think through naming 2 acute angles for number 6. Then on the back side, number 8, you're going to name 2 obtuse angles. All right. Let me know if you have questions. Thanks for joining as we talked more about name and angles today. Bye.